So this is a little bit about the feud between Antifa-linked agitator Dinesh Nashirvan and Joey Camp, an anti-Antifa journalist. Their feud is many years old. Didn't start in a courtroom. It actually started online. Dinesh is this TikTok accountability influencer, and he's known for mobilizing digital mobs. And he's treated Camp as his personal villain for many years. It all started really before 2020, but it came to a head in 2020 when Camp infiltrated left-wing activist groups in Kenosha, in Denver, all the Antifa people during the George Floyd riots, and he became a recurring target of Antifa. What he would do is he'd go in and he would videotape the agitators, and then he would put their identities online for everybody to see, including law enforcement. And so it became very difficult for Antifa to act. And so what they did was they put a bounty on Joey Camp's head, and he now lives in hiding in South America because of that. But it hasn't stopped their digital rivalry over social media and the internet. But now it's spilled over into Fort Myers federal court. There's a case now pending called Noshirvan versus Couture, and it's pending before United States District Court Judge John E. Steele. And in that case, Dinesh is trying to turn that online war against Joey Camp into a multi-million-dollar damages claim. The problem is that the Joey Camp Boogeyman narrative is collapsing in real time under documented facts. Dinesh Nashirvan previously claimed that Joey Camp was an active Interpol fugitive. That's not true. Interpol certified that he's not subject to any notice or diffusion on February 10th. And the earlier claims that he was a fugitive were debunked. Joey Camp believes that Dinesh actually may have paid somebody off or have improperly influenced Belize authorities to make a false report. And this is fully under investigation at this time by Interpol and other authorities. Uh, Dinesh framed Joey Camp as a red notice international criminal, but Belize withdrew their red notice within 3 days of Joey Camp being detained in South America. It was bogus, and it got thrown out. Um, in that paperwork, Dinesh implicated Camp as a serious, dangerous sex offender. Uh, and Joey Camp claims that Dinesh said he had his background report from the FBI and everything else, but we have a copy of the FBI background report that shows no sex crime history. Dinesh repeatedly labels Joey Camp and others as pedophiles online. Joey Camp has no convictions, zero registry listing, zero U.S. charges, zero credible accusations of anything related to sex offenses, child sexual abuse. This is all bogus. Dinesh suggested that Camp was hiding from justice. And basically, Colombian prosecutors rejected extradition and ordered his immediate release on this bogus Interpol notice. The fact is that Joey Camp isn't hiding from justice; he's hiding from Antifa, and Dinesh Nashirvan has the connections to Antifa. Dinesh claimed that Joey Camp was part of this coordinated harassment conspiracy in this Fort Myers federal court case, but Joey Camp isn't even a named defendant in that case. Moreover, Dinesh used these Belize charges to imply a violent criminal activity. The original charge in Belize was, quote, spreading false news tied to political criticism. That is a crime in Belize. Spreading false news is a crime under Belize law. And it's not a crime that ever could happen in the United States because spreading false news is what Dinesh Nashirvan does for a living. And if it was a crime, he would probably get the death penalty. Dinesh also ignored evidence of the Belize police had a pattern of retaliating against their critics on Facebook. So Dinesh, who runs around with his accountability, is in lockstep, linked arm in arm with the Belize government here, who basically cracks down on free speech. Dinesh is anti-free speech. The only free speech Dinesh likes are the smear jobs that he puts out. Dinesh also admitted that Belize told the Colombia authorities that they were no longer interested in Camp after the detention had started. So Belize dropped this like a hot potato, and Dinesh is the only one that's continuing with it. He's continued to this day and will continue through this trial to amplify this fugitive narrative, even after this Interpol detention and the Interpol deletion of the records was announced. Um, and so what Dinesh is doing is he's treating this politically motivated red notice, motivated by these Belize authorities, by certain Belize police, and potentially, according to Joey Camp, motivated by Dinesh himself and maybe Mr. James McGivney. They're treating this red notice as proof of guilt or culpability or wrongdoing, and it's none of that. He's using Dinesh. He's used this temporary detention to basically concoct a false, inflated federal court damages theory. Somehow that Joey Camp is responsible for all the harms that Dinesh has felt, and that somebody should have to pay for it. It's not Joey Camp, but he's just that anybody has to pay for it. He's using this as a lottery ticket. And he's built this lawsuit narrative about Joey Camp as his boogeyman to say, oh, let's find somebody with a deep pocket and have them go and pay for all my harms, but he doesn't have any economic harms. The alleged incident that happened in 2022, that's the basis of his current lawsuit. Well, he's much bigger, Dinesh, than he was in 2022. He has more followers, and his economics claims are unsupported. He also doesn't have any non-economic claims, any personal injury claims to show that he was somehow harmed by any type of abuse. But what he has done, Dinesh, is he's publicly demonized Joey Camp to his millions of followers. He's publicly demonized him without verified facts. And he's trying to basically hoodwink with the help of his attorney, Nick Chiappetta of Lake Worth, Florida. He's helping to demonize Camp and to try to turn this into a lottery ticket win on a baseless federal court case. That's what this guy does. He advances sex crime smears, and he knows the background checks before he even sent them out don't bear this out. And this is what this is. This is a smear job. And so when this case gets to a jury, credibility will be the issue. And everyone should know that Dinesh Nashirvan's credibility is as brittle as can be. I wouldn't buy a used car from this guy. I wouldn't buy a $5 watch from this guy. That's just how bad this guy is. So we'll have some more on Dinesh Nashirvan and his feud with Joey Camp, or his non-feud with Joey Camp, and the smear jobs that he's deploying.